What made you say, I can't believe I have to argue this? In 4th grade, we had a test on fact or opinion. One of the questions was, the chocolate cake is delicious. Fact or opinion? I marked opinion. I was marked wrong. When I asked about it, she said, well, it's a fact that the cake is delicious. I asked, what if I don't like chocolate cake? She said, do you not like chocolate cake? I said I did, and she asked what the problem was. I argued with the teacher over this for weeks. I never got my points back. HRMPH. I'm 37 years old now and I still get irritated remembering that. Overall, I really like that teacher, but oh my god, what a strange, cake-related blind spot. In 12th grade we had a geography test which, for some reason, included a bonus question asking our opinion regarding a new major road being built. I said it would just be another traffic jam. I lost points on a bonus question regarding my opinion. I still get deeply satisfied every time I hear there's a jam on that road, which is all the time. I'm a high school teacher. I taught a very unwilling group of grade 9 students this semester who displayed an alarming level of entitlement and apathy to most things going on in the world around them. I frequently had to have many conversations I thought I would never have. My favorite was on the day of a unit test. One of the slackers wasn't prepared at all because he hadn't done any of the classwork leading up to the test. It was open book. He spent the entire test period sitting there, staring at his page. At the end of the period he handed me a blank test. I asked him if he realized what handing me a blank test meant. I just wanted to establish he knew he'd get zeros so that he didn't flip out later. He says, yeah, I'm just gonna finish this tomorrow in class. I chuckle, because I thought he was joking. You can't finish it tomorrow. Why not? Me, surprised I have to explain this. Today was the test. The time to write the test was today. Tomorrow we are moving on to something else, so you can't write the test tomorrow. You've already seen the test today, so if you write it tomorrow, it's no longer a test of your abilities, but a test of your ability to memorize and prepare answers. Him, extremely pissed off and disbelieving. Well, I want to write it tomorrow. I didn't want to write it today. What? In 2nd grade, a kid and I were drawing and coloring a picture. When it came to the sky, the kid was drawing with a dark blue crayon, and all I was thinking is, but it's daytime, what is wrong with this kid? I brought it up to him, and he insisted that he was right and my light blue crayon was wrong. So, he read the label of his crayon saying that it is blue and the sky is blue, therefore he wins. But in a crazy turn of events, I look down at my crayon label and see what it says and just look up with the biggest grin on my face. Mine is called Sky Blue. Still the highlight of my life. Every time I agree with someone and then have to argue to make them realize I agreed with them. I was at the DMV when I was about 8 months pregnant, definitely visibly pregnant, but I carried really high with him. An old man asked me when I was due. I said, beginning of next month, and he tried to tell me I couldn't possibly be due that soon. I brushed it off as being friendly, albeit misguided, but then he said, you young girls can't even figure out when you got pregnant, and expect the baby to come when you want it to. I just stood there kinda dumbfounded, and said, well, my OBGYN told me he's due then, and the guy said, well, your doctor is a quack. You aren't that pregnant. Okay. Roman and Greek gods were pretty much the same gods, but had different names. He kept saying no until I asked him what Apollo's name was in Roman. For anyone who don't know, it's Apollo still. Me, I'm colorblind. Someone, no you aren't. Me, go away. I had a friend who was red-green colorblind and he was talking about it and some girl just started laughing. And we were like, what? And she was telling us that that's ridiculous and that's not possible that someone sees colors differently. What? She also told me to stop being so anxious and I'll feel better, lol. One of my more privileged friends couldn't understand that I didn't have enough money for something. He wanted me to go to Vegas with him and hang out. He just didn't get that I just didn't have enough money. It was impossible to argue for something that you never would have thought needed an argument at all. But you have a magic plastic card too though, right? Just use that for everything like I do. I was 22, my brother 24. He asked if he could borrow my battery charger. I said it was broken, I'd thrown it out. Cue an escalating argument that things don't just break. I had to have broken it somehow. Not that it was even any of his fucking business, given that the item had been mine. As the argument escalated, it became obvious that, at 24, he hadn't heard of, say, metal corrosion, or heat cycles, wear and tear, or component life. He insisted, to the point of shouting in fury, that things only break because a person inflicts damage on them, e.g., vandalism or carelessness. He seemed to believe that if you don't drop an electronic item or get it wet or otherwise damage it, then it will last forever. We'd argued about many things over the years, but the denial of entropy was a new one on me. When I was in college, I had to argue with a class of people that water expands as it freezes and becomes ice. Why it wasn't safe for a baby to chew on a size D batteries. Could you elaborate what happened? I'm morbidly curious now. You know how babies put any and everything in their mouth. Some unorthodox things you go ahead and let them, like a back scratcher. My daughter didn't see the harm in letting her gnaw on a battery. It was too big for her to swallow, so what the heck? First day of history in high school. We were given a sheet of paper with a map of the UK and told to write down significant moments in the history of Scotland. I wrote down Hadrian's Wall as that signified the difficulty and ultimate failure of Rome's attempt to conquer Scotland. My teacher told me that I was wrong, because Hadrian's Wall wasn't physically within Scotland's current-day borders, so it doesn't count. I argued, saying it doesn't matter where it physically was, it answered the question she gave us. We argued back and forth about it for a good 5 minutes while my class sat in silence. In the end, I gave up and accepted defeat. I didn't like history class after that. In my junior year of high school, in my history class, my teacher told us we were going to practice debating that day. I and another kid were picked to go first, and this is how the exchange went. Teacher: okay, so the topic here is slavery. Is it good or bad? Tommy, you go first. Tommy: well, I think slavery is bad because it killed a lot of people. Me: well, I also think slavery is bad. Teacher: you can't have the same side as your opponent. Okay. I proceeded to make the best argument I could debating for slavery and was then sent to the principal's office for my racist remarks. Fuck that, teacher. That's fucked up. Were you in trouble with the principal? No, he was pretty chill and understood that it was fucked, so I just hung out in his office until the end of the period. I had nearly the exact same thing happen in elementary school. 6th grade, we were put in pairs and given a topic to defend or attack. Me and my partner were told to defend Nazis for the debate. Obviously, neither of us believed any of this racist crap, but we were both good students and figured the assignment was just a test of debating skill. Well, we won the debate and then were immediately sent to the counselors for expressing problematic views. It's funnier when you take into account the kid I was paired with was Jewish. I got into a flat earth argument with someone. I didn't believe these people actually existed and I wasn't prepared. My go-to was, if we started digging right now, how deep would we have to go before we fall through the hole and into the abyss? He said my shovel would melt. I said, so the Earth's core is still there? Is that flat? And he said no. My friend gets mad at me when I say I don't like Fortnite after trying the game, stating I hate it to be popular interesting. I have a friend, used to have a friend that scolded me for playing games he didn't like. In a college trigonometry class, I had to argue with the entire class that there were in fact infinitely many rectangles. The entire class said there were only 2, horizontal and vertical. I tried to explain that rotating a shape didn't change it, but the class didn't agree. I said there were infinitely many rectangles because a rectangle changed shape every time you extended it in one direction. The debate started with one guy telling me that I was wrong, and pretty soon the entire class was agreeing with him. To settle the debate, the professor asked us to raise our hands if we thought there were infinitely many rectangles. I was the only one who raised my hand. He then said, there are, in fact, infinitely many rectangles for the exact reason that he said, and continued the lesson. I was right. This dude tried to convince me that the Star Wars movies were based on the books. Dumb but possible. I pulled out the book, showed him the earliest publishing date, 1978, whereas the movie came out in 77. Case closed, right? Nope. Proceeded to reach until I gave up and stopped talking. I had a fight with my husband while he was training me during our workout. We had just begun exercising, and I'm not an athlete, and would never describe myself as athletic, if you catch my drift. My husband, on the other hand, was a personal trainer and is an Army vet. During our workout, he tried to make me do push-ups. I told him I literally cannot do a push-up. My twiggy weeny weakling arms and crappy core muscles would literally not let me do a push-up if my life depended on it. He did not understand this. He just did not understand that someone could be so weak and not be able to do the exercises he could do. It was very frustrating. And yes, if anyone is curious, I can now do push-ups. I'm very proud of my 10 in a row. LOL. That Spanish means someone something related to Spain, and not generic Spanish-speaking person. A Peruvian isn't Spanish, for fuck's sake. In AP Chem in high school, our teacher gave us a throwaway question for an extra credit point. Which is heavier, a pound of lead or a pound of feathers? I argued with one of my friends after the test for way too long before just walking away from her because she couldn't understand. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.